First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
John Zogby standing by on the line. John, good morning.
Good morning, Bill. No, it is not possible.
I feel that, yeah. I don't think it's... I feel like he's negotiating right now to find the best exit strategy that's out there. What do you think?
Well, I felt that way about Nixon back in the 70s. I felt that way as well about Donald Trump, that he was holding off and leveraging, perhaps, to prevent a district attorney from filing criminal charges. The problem is this is a political issue. When it comes to the Assembly and the Senate and the impeachment, he has zero support. He has zero support among his own party in both houses of the legislature. He has the President of the United States calling upon him to resign. He has numerous leaders of women's groups and liberal organizations who've given up on him. There isn't one supporter, at least publicly, that we know of. And so the issue is, where does he go from here? If he continues to hold out, he really destroys his legacy, as you point out. All he has left right now is to salvage his legacy. You're not going to see people coming out of the woodwork saying, "Oh, I've known Andrew and he's a good man. He's been a longtime friend of mine." You're not seeing any of that playing out. He is all alone right now.
And the allegations are using the power that he has to call these young ladies into his office and to, I guess, with delusion, try to think that there's something's going to come out of that whole thing. Like he's sitting in some sort of a bar where you can propose and date and do all that stuff. This is not the place for that.
I'm going to put my psychology hat on, and your listeners need to know that I do not have a psychology hat.
Okay, all right.
So I'm just speculating here. In its most benign form, this is a pathetic governor.
Yes.
This is someone who is lonely, is not accustomed to dealing with women in the usual way, and is ham-handedly looking for sex and looking for a relationship. This is the most positive spin one can put on it. At the same time, this is the boss. This is a tough boss, in many instances, a ruthless boss that surrounds himself with pretty ruthless people. This is the kind of guy who humiliates a young woman who is just starting a new job or is interviewing a new job and telling her, "Sing, oh, Danny boy." Well, what is that? That is manipulation. That's predatory. That's someone actually, the most telling thing that the governor has said publicly is, "I've given 39 years of my life to public service." Boy, if that doesn't smell of entitlement, I don't have to follow the rules.
Right.
I am the state.
The rules, by the way, that he set forth, he created these rules.
He created, and this is what makes the situation even worse.
Yeah.
There are those trying to compare him to Bill Clinton. Look, everybody knew what everybody was getting with Bill Clinton. There wasn't any hypocrisy. He was a rogue and never made himself out to be anything else but a rogue. In this instance, this is Andrew Cuomo, a man from a good family, good on the issues, and I guess with that, he had a sense that he had a pass.
You use the word pathetic, and I find that interesting because I think we oftentimes use the word in a derogatory way. Yeah. And maybe it doesn't seem that that's the way you use the word. And there are two basic ways to use pathetic. He is a pathetic excuse for a man. That's pretty derogatory. However, he looked so pathetic, I had to step in and assist. Pathetic being someone who is looking weak and
yeah, first of all, he's pathetic in both senses of the word.
I think.
And folks, if there are any fans out there, I apologize for what I'm about to say.
Those lone fans.
But he's pathetic also in the sense that he has come back with a defense that is even more offensive than the charges themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, I was trying to counsel her. I was probing into her life. I mean, who goes to a governor for counseling? Number one, who goes to a governor for counseling, especially when the buzz has already been established that he reaches under your blouse, he humiliates you. I mean, to think that anybody could be so naive as to believe that, the governor then has created his own reality. And I might add, nobody's believing it.
Right.
I mean, according to Quinnipiac, 70% want him to resign.
Here's a question, though. I'm not sure that anything...
Did I lose you?
Nope. Can you still hear me?
Oh.
Hello, John. Do you still have me? Testing 1, 2. Did our system just go down and he can't hear us?
John, can you hear us?
I'm still here.
Hello?
Yep. Do you have us now, John? I'm going to put him on. How about now? Angela, pick him up, could you, and find out what's going on there. That's really weird. Call him back, could you, Angelo? What I wanted to ask, though, and I really want John's answer on this, is are we talking about something that is criminal? And even as it's described as to what occurred in the governor's mansion, it doesn't reach the level of criminality.
For an average Joe, it certainly does.
But I'm not sure that even his power as an executive makes it criminal. It makes it completely wrong against any policy, any state policy, unless the new laws make it criminal. My question, John, is there's a case that he could make to make the case that it is not criminal what occurred.
Can he make that case?
Yeah.
I think he's going to try to make that case. However, there are 11 women now with the public forum and the support of a majority of both houses of the legislature and the attorney general and so on who don't see it that way. So, I mean, he's flailing if he's attempting to make this argument, especially, as you pointed out earlier, when he is the one who helped rewrite the rules of the game.
Right. He may very well be the one who makes it criminal. His pen. The rules and regulations and laws that were passed based on sexual harassment, he may very well be the one that changed it. So this is a criminal act.
But there's another element here too, and I mentioned this in the very beginning. Impeachment is very much a political process.
Sure.
And regardless of the debates over legality or illegality, those ultimately will be settled in the court system. When it comes to the state legislature, he's got a majority of both houses who have to run for re-election and have to see themselves controlling the majority after the 22 elections. They clearly do not want this albatross around their neck.
Yeah.
And in that sense, I just simply can't see any scenario where he survives this.
And whether or not it's criminal, as you're saying, and I'll just put it in a nutshell, criminal, whether he broke the law or not, versus breaking regulations and sexual harassment rules and regulations in the workplace, doesn't matter at all when it comes to the impeachment.
It really doesn't. And remember, too, there is the nursing home death count that we're looking at, and the using state money to buy up his book is another issue. But this one is the overriding issue, and it's not so much that legality, illegality doesn't matter. It's going to be determined by the legislature more as a sanitation problem, which is, we got a dead rat on the kitchen floor. How do we remove it?
Wow. So, what do you think? Is there a possibility that someone gets to him and convinces him there is no end in sight here, or there's no way out? So, could it be possible that even this week he decides he has to focus on on clearing his good name, and for that reason he must step down? Do you think that could come as early as this week, or will he be defiant?
It should come as early as this week. It makes no sense for him whatsoever to prolong this, because the result is inevitable no matter how long it takes, and he only hurts himself. There isn't really anything that he can do except gracefully bow out. Who that person is who could do the convincing, I don't know.
Well, I was going to ask that. Right? So is there someone that you could think of, possibly his brother, possibly his mother, that would be able to say enough is enough?
Those would be the only two that I would guess. His brother or his mother.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, John, you even mentioned it, this alternate reality that he creates. It's almost as if he yearns for the impeachment to say, look, they took me out, it was all political the whole time, and denying this blame until the end. I mean, I don't know who hasn't come out already to tell him to resign. I mean, you had Andrea Stewart-Cousins back in March telling him to. So at this point, he's still releasing press releases with legal defenses. He's still doing his daily routine, albeit watered down.
The other part of this that really just blows my mind is the basic element of a relationship with another human being, and with insulting or harassing or making that person feel uncomfortable or bad or what have you. Not ever does it matter what he thinks. He's saying, I didn't intend that. Well, you're taught that if you've ever been to therapy, the one thing you learn the one thing you learn right off the bat is it doesn't matter what you think. It matters how the other person feels. And I can't believe he doesn't understand that.
I shouldn't speculate, but this is someone who has operated from a sense of entitlement and lived in his own world for the last 40 years. This is a person who started out as a 24-year-old chief of staff with no experience whatsoever, and chief of staff to the governor, berating, insulting senior people who've been around Albany forever. This is a bully. This is a classic bully.
And then finally,
and it's catching up.
And there's nobody around that you've been nice to that can assist. Last thing, I know we're dragging every ounce of what we can get out of you here today, John. But Kathy Hochul, what are your thoughts?
Oh, she's a very capable lady. She's been around. She was in Congress. She worked in Albany. The lieutenant governor position is not established as a stepping stone, but I have met her and talked to her. She's a woman of substance. She's very nice, incidentally. I think New Yorkers would be well served by Kathy Hochul. She's been to this area a number of times. She's an upstater, which for me, possibly for you as well, is always a plus. It's nice to see that from the Buffalo area. And there's an authenticity about her that folks will like.
And I really think she's been the victim of the governor's, he's done
another
it to
way
the
to demean a woman.
Demeaning, discrediting. If you talk to people that have worked with the governor, they'll tell you she's clueless. Yeah, Kathy Hochul could never take over. She's clueless, and I don't think that's the real Kathy Hochul. There's no doubt. I really feel we're going to find out, right?
Yep, we're going to find out. That is not unusual the governors have mistreated lieutenant governors for years now. I can go back to Nelson Rockefeller and Malcolm.
Yeah.
But in any event, I mean,
let's take a vice president. Same thing. You have the same type of relationship between a president and a vice president.
Yeah, we've had lieutenant governors who've quit. Al Del Bello quit, Marion Krupczak quit for that very reason.
Yeah.
Not only putting out to pasture, but the public humiliation of it all. In this sense, all of that helps her. Her hands are clean. She had nothing at all to do with it. She gets to be someone who has visited every county, knows the problems of upstate New York, gets to start things fresh. And I would not count her out if she wants to run for governor in 2022. I would not count her out. She's a good campaigner as well.
John Zogby, as always, your insight we appreciate greatly.
Thanks. Good to talk to you.
Thanks so much. John Zogby from Zogby Strategies. You look like you want to add something.
Well, just
with
to
a little snicker in
the
your
topic
face.
of lieutenant governor in New York State, it's it's becoming very quickly an easy stepping stone into the governor's position.
Right. Yeah, by default. Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Comment from Meg in New Hartford. Good morning. Regarding the governor, here's my theory. I apologize if it's been said before. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. When the attorney general, the top cop in your state, says you're guilty without a trial, she opened up for him to never have a trial. Her comments were posted nationwide. He can claim that he will never get a fair trial. He was not afforded due process. She's allowed him to walk away from this by handling it the way that she did. That was her political move. Keep up the good work, guys. And then,
I disagree with that. I feel like she's done she's a prosecutor. And she's laid out her case. Now, whether, the governor can call this trial by the media, he still will face his jury. He still will have a chance to defend his case. And that will be in the impeachment process. So,
I think it could be beyond that.
And I think that people are, based on the legitimacy, what it seems like the legitimacy of the complainants, and the fact that there's 11. Think of other people that went much quicker, other guys that went much quicker. He has 11 accusers right now. And there are a lot of people in this Me Too movement who have been victims of that. And let's not forget that the governor was one of those people calling for those people to be punished and removed from their spot in the spotlight, whether it be an actor or what's his name from Kevin from where he was the what I'm talking about, Angelo. Come on, stick with me.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how quickly did that go? There were a couple of accusers, and the guy can't work again. Think of the number of people that go through this sort of thing. There are many of them out there.
Matt Lauer was a day.
Matt Lauer, that was fast. There was no trial in that situation.
No, but it has to do with basically he's fired by his superiors. I'm not going to work on a screen anymore. They said we're not going to allow you to work on a screen anymore.
Correct, but Matt Lauer was fired.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. Like he went, you know what, you're right, you got me, I can't do this. They said get out.
That's kind of the impeachment process here, and wouldn't you be better off resigning before you get fired? I mean, you got to read the writing on the wall. And
he might be out for one of these press conferences again at some point before this impeachment investigation. He might end up doing something on COVID or something, because I just believe he's just
I don't
clueless.
Discount that the Albany County Sheriff will arrest him. That the trial that he faces would be a trial in a courtroom, not.
But there are two different
house.
trials that are going to be done here.
Yeah,
there's the trial for his job, and there's a trial for his,
freedom.
But there's nothing that he has done that's going to end up where he's going to wind up spending years in prison.
No.
Right.
No,
I mean, you're dealing with, the tarnish, your career.
No, but the shot of him in handcuffs, if he wants to save his legacy, he'll never recover from that.
Yep.
The other thing is, I heard
Completely
a poll
agree.
yesterday. Either Kilmeade or Jimmy Fela had this. 86% of state lawmakers want the governor out, and they do not support him. And I'm like, Who's the 14%?
Yeah.
Who are these people?
I think they were sleeping or on vacation, must have been.
They were the ones that didn't support Derek Jeter making it into the Hall of Fame.